Okay, so I started my drawing ahead of time because I knew it was going to take me forever and would make the video too long. So what I started with was this line right here at the center of the building, and I actually measured and I found that the center of the building is 1.5 times from this edge. So I did measure that before I started. And then I started up here with these lines, trying to look at the shapes up here, the negative shapes. And then I started putting in the trees, the tree trunks and stuff to help me break those shapes up a little more. And with everything I do, I start with the biggest shapes, and then I try to put in see if the smaller shapes will fit into the big shapes that I've started. I put in these, whatever those ornamental onion, the big purple thingies, half round thingies. Put those in to kind of help me find my place. And now I'm kind of going back and erasing some of these lines. I need to, that comes that way more. And I am going to put these back in before I start, but I need to get rid of them for a minute here, and I need to know where the greenery is going to be up in the sky. And I guess I was just sort of guessing where the trees went. I don't have a really firm grasp of what's going on back here in this corner, so I just was kind of adding some. I just can't see what's back there, and I don't really know if I can see a little piece of this side of the building, but I'm just going to put it in anyway. And maybe I can figure that stuff out more. I found the windows are lined up with each other, and I drew the line all the way back here and then drew it back up this way to find where the top of the building would be on the other side. So now those lines need to go. And now I'm going to put back in those onion thingies. So I want to place my flowers because I'm gonna start with my flowers. I don't want to have to put the flower colors on top of the greenery. I'm always afraid I just won't be able to make the flowers bright enough if I do that. So and I drew in some of the leaves, and I decided I'd like to have a little more something over there on these elephant ears, something else that kind of stretched out over there. I do find it's always risky to try to make something up, but even something like that, it does make me a little anxious. But you know what, I'm going to just see how would it look to do even one more. And maybe it's one thing that's hard about making things up is it's very hard not to get repetitious when you're making it up. So I'm just trying to be sure I make these different shapes and sizes. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start my color. And then I can always come back and redraw more later if I need to. Like this line, I need to know for sure. I need to firm this up before I start. And then I can see that this line isn't right. And actually, what I didn't allow for here is the width of that shadow under the door, under the roof. So when that gets in there, that helps me to see that I was looking at the door just now and I felt like the door looked a little tall for its width. And it's because I had this line up too high because I hadn't kind of allowed for that shadow. And these are all things you could say, so what, it doesn't matter. But And yeah, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But I am trying to do the best job I can, and even trying as hard as I can, I do a lot of things that aren't accurate. So every painting I do is part of the goal is to make me better. And so, you know, being more accurate is part of, I think, being better. And it's important to me to be accurate. So, and it doesn't have to be important to anyone else. It is important to me. All right. And I do feel like for myself, like it's easier for me to see things in shapes, like filled in shapes like that, than it is to see them as just outline drawings. But I also don't want to get, you know, a ton of charcoal on here. Okay, so I'm going to start with the sky, and it's a super bright blue day. So I'm just going to start with a bright blue. And I'm going to, you know, like I said, try to remember to go right up off the edge here, cover up that composition line. I only needed it in the beginning. I don't need it now. Okay. Yeah, I didn't draw the shadow on the roof. So what I'm going to do, because I didn't draw that in, I'm going to start with the shadows on the roof. And then I'll come back and put in the lights. And the reason I made that choice is that because of the easier to get light over dark thing, if I get the roof shadows in the wrong place, it's not a big deal. I can just cover them up with the light color. But if I do it the other way around, I might have some trouble. And I guess I'll go ahead and put in the greenery up there. Although I'm going to start it with just the dark blue. And same thing, I'm going to start it really dark, and then I can always add the lights. Yep, already confused. All right, and then, wow, I just don't know what the shadow on the building, what color is that? I'm going to go with turquoise. Yep, it's just as soon as I find one. All right, here we go. Start to put that shadow in, start to worry. Oh, no, I'm not losing you. I start to worry about that maybe the window is too close to the door because that shadow there. But I'm just not gonna, try not to think about my drawing too much right now. All right, so those are some of the shadows on that. Okay, so that's the window, and some of the shadow comes over here too. So I'm trying not to let any shadows stop. Oh, I didn't see that bush. Do I want that bush? I don't know. I can always add it later. Okay, and then this color is kind of a yellow. So I know it's not that yellow. So if you haven't drawn in all your lights and shadows, go ahead and start with the darks and then come back and put in the lights, because that way you have a better chance of you know, being able to get your lights, because your lights can cover your darks. And on a bright sunny day like this, I'm going for as much contrast as I can get. Ew, where'd that window go? Guess it's in here somewhere. That is one of the hallmarks of a sunny day, is that there's a lot of contrast. It's obviously very clear out. It's not very atmospheric today, so yeah, so lots of contrast. So I'm starting these windows really dark, but eventually I'll put some reflections in them, because otherwise they just look like, you know, haunted house or something. And I am going to go ahead and tone down that yellow right away, I think, because I have yellow flowers, so I'm going to need that yellow for my flowers. If I didn't have yellow flowers, I could, you know, leave the house more yellow. But it's all about relationships. It's not, nothing is exact. It's more, what is the relationship between the colors? And I do really love this red paper when I'm doing a lot of greens. And I'm going to use the purple for the green and shadow. Yeah, and you know, I haven't decided about that tree, but that's what's casting these shadows over here. So I may just have to take those out later if I don't do that. Okay, and here's this sort of shrubbery item back here. And this fence. I don't know what that is really, but it's not really a fence. It's not really doing what it's supposed to do, but I think I'm going to make it into a little fence. Just sort of right in there. And I'm just going to keep using my purple for the shadows on it. Sometimes it's almost like too much trouble to keep searching for different darks. So, you know, just kind of getting all the darks kind of the same. I think that's okay. I've talked about it before, how I sort of feel like the darks running through my painting, they're like the bass line in the music, that they they hold it together. Like I can break up the lights more when I have the darks holding it all together. All right, and this is the light on the tree over here. All right, and then I need something dark for my tree, and I think I'm going to use, I hope this is olive green. Yep, okay. Okay, and now the next thing I'm going to do is start spotting in my flowers, because I'm starting to worry that I'm getting them covered up too much, where they're going to go. So So I'm just putting in spots, and I'm trying to not get them too regular like that, but you can see, like, no, it's hard. It's hard not to. So anything that's too regular, I'll come back and make it better. It's funny too, you can just think there's so many flowers in a place, but then you start to paint and you feel like, well, I wish there were more flowers. And since you're a painter and not a photographer, you can have more flowers. Nope, too light. All right, I'm just going to start these with some sort of relief. That's better. You know, it's a super complicated scene. And so just sort of the more you can simplify it, that I feel, the better shot you have at it. So just starting these leaves all the same. I mean, maybe if I was only painting the leaves, I would, you know, not do it that way. But there's a lot going on. So I can't really afford to make things too complicated too quickly. So here we kind of have examples of places. These are not lit up by the sun, but they are lit up some by the sky. Like that one has a little, well, actually, I don't know if that's sun. I don't think that's sunlight. I think that's something, a color change in the leaf. So so they have light coming on. So here we have light from the sky. We have places that are not getting light from the sun or the sky. And we have some places that are getting light from the sky, but not the sun. So because I've got this red paper, I don't have to start my greens with some unusual color, I can kind of just go for the green because I've got the red under it. So that kind of serves as my unusual color. And then I guess back here there's more. Who knows where things are. Oop, that's not what I wanted. And that's not either. So where did you go here? Since I don't really know what's going on back there, just make it dark and hope for the best. Oh, and here's some more. I do think when in doubt, it's better to go ahead and start all this masses of greenery a little darker than you're planning for them to end up, because of that thing. Then you can put the lights on top and it's like you're pulling those areas closer to you, and you get a nice strong deep down undercolor that when you put the dark on top, then it looks like the dark is on top. But this way my darks are under, and then I'll come back and put the lights on and pull the lights out, and I might have to go back and restate the darks, but that's okay, I can do that. But usually I try to do last what's really on top of what's on top, or what's closest to me. All right, I didn't do these guys. And I'm just starting them all the same too. I started these yellow flowers too light. But you know, even that's okay because I'm going to spray it. So that'll change everything again, and it won't be, it'll all get darker. So the thing I love about pastels is that they are really fixable. There's very few things that you can't recover from. So I don't really have everything in here, so I need to get things covered a little more before I start. Adding more variation to other areas. Oops, there's another one of those guys. Well, I'm gonna make it another one of those guys right there. And I guess I'll do the roof on that other building, kind of that same as I did this roof with, maybe have it all in shadow, I don't know. And maybe I should, I lost my blue, maybe I should come in here with that. So something like that. And I don't know, it's over there in that corner that I hate, so I'm going to have to try to figure that out later. And I don't know, would there be, like up here maybe on this side of this building, if that's what that is, would there be some light? So maybe, see, it gets that, to me, it gets that little murky feeling when I have to come back and put the light, the dark over the light, and I don't like that. But it's also just fine because when I spray it, that'll go away. All right, I don't know why this color is bugging me, so I just want to see if I can, this color of the shadow under the roof is bugging me. was thinking I'd try to make that side of the building look different than this side, so that is part of what I'm up to here. And I'm going to add some sky color into my windows. Sky reflections. Oh, what is going on there, I wonder? Must be green stuff, huh? So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use some more of that dark. Yeah, same thing. I'm using the same color too much probably, but I'll just come back. I'll come back and add more variety. All right, well that was no good. How I ended up combining those two, so I'm going to come back and make that a little darker behind here. Okay, and I need to have the door jamb needs to be a little lighter. Probably not like that. The door frame, sorry, wrong word. And maybe a little more light on that door too. All right, and I'm going to let my drawing get out of whack up there, but I'm just going to fix it right now. Oh, that was supposed to be sky right there. Oh, my whole roof is screwed up. So, you know, just now I was even thinking about it's really easy to fall in the trap of making these parallel lines, this one and this one, but they're not. They're converging. They're getting smaller as they go away toward the vanishing point. So, yeah, you have to remember that. Okay, so I want a better color for my roof. Better, I said better, not perfect. Okay, so that's better. I'm going to try a little pink on it. All right, so I think that color is a little better. And now I'm going to put in this fascia board, maybe. So that is not dark enough. Oh, that's better. So I know it's hard to believe, but there are No parallel horizontal lines in perspective. They are all converging. I'm going to try to make this bluer since there's so much. And I guess I'm going to take the shadows off here because they're cast by something that's not actually in the picture. So. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to get things a little more filled in, cover up some more of this red and stuff. This is a really dark green. Okay, now I still got my house way too yellow, so no. Okay, I'm just going to try white on it. Well, actually, it's a very light pink. And you know what? I'm going to lie a little bit and make that window a little shorter right there, just so it's not just lined up with the tree so much. And I think I should do one more something to my sky. It's so blue, but I'm going to add this little bit of green right now, greenish blue. And see what happens if I can come back over that after I spray it. That dang corner. All right, I tell you what, it's so confusing. I'm so confused. So I'm just going to try to make the colors better than I've started. Well, I just feel like, as usual, I don't have enough of the right colors, right? And I do try to make the, I try to make the colors of the flowers. I don't fool around with that. I'm not going to start a purple flower orange or something. I'm going to, you know, keep it pretty, just pretty much in the color family it is. In some ways, I think it's more fun to paint. Oops, it's more fun to paint things that are kind of dull in color because you can fool around with it more, like the color of the house. That's a pretty interesting thing because, you know, I don't know what color that is. I have to keep experimenting with it. Whereas the color of the flowers is pretty straight up purple, pink. All right, still trying to get the trees better. And got some drawing problems here with that window. And I think maybe I should let that trunk come down a little more into there. Oh, could there be pink in here? Could there? Okay, too much the same. I tell you, these guys, these elephant ears, they're like about the only real structure in the garden. So I don't know. I just want to be sure they do their job. Maybe I could have some other flowers back here. All right, I think it's time to spray it. Oh, well, one more thing. I don't want to tear the paper off this pastel and break it. Well, it broke anyway, so I guess I'll have to. I'm just afraid I'll lose it. And this really dark green. And there are a few places of light green up there, and this is not right. That tree is really dark all the way to the top. All right, and there are a few light places of green up there in those branches. Just see if I'm going to like it or not. Or if I just want them. I think I'm probably going to want them all dark, but I'll come back to that, and I just need a little more something going on down in there. Okay. I really like the red paper, but at some point it starts to kind of bug me that I need to get it all covered up so I can compare my colors more accurately. Okay, time to spray and then redraw.